Welcome, blood brothers and sanguine sisters, to Deeply Discussing Dexter. I'm your host, Dale Maxfield. I'm joined by Aaron Caldwell.
Hello.
Brooke Merritt.
Hi.
And Zach Rowland.
Hey, hey.
And today we're discussing Season 5, Episode 10, In the Beginning. On this episode, Dexter packs Sonia and Harrison off to Orlando. LaGuerta agrees to roll out the barrels again. Chase tells a woman that she's special, so special that he won't touch her or even look at her. And Dexter gives Lumen a present and is rewarded with the sex. What did you guys think of this episode overall?
I really liked this episode. I mean, it's not my favorite episode of all time or anything, but as I was watching it, I was like, yeah, I'm into this. I'm enjoying this. I'm liking the tension. I'm liking where it's headed. And then, yeah, it worked out. It was good.
I thought it was okay. It was just okay. It kind of just made me feel skeezy and uncomfortable. I think so much of the violence in those
DVDs
scenes I think that made it really uncomfortable, which is what you should be watching a show like this. And I thought plot-wise, we did a little bit, but I really hated the ending of this episode a lot. So that kind of... Whatever I did like about it is ruined immediately by the ending.
Oh, we'll get there. We will definitely talk about that.
Good, great. I'm glad.
But it starts with Dexter sending Harrison to Orlando with Sonia so he's safe with Astor, Cody, and the grandparents. That is not how babysitters work at all. You don't send your babysitter away with your child alone for the weekend. It's just not it. Like, even if she's just giving him a ride, that's not how babysitters work. They don't give children rides for whatever it is, like 6 hours between Orlando and Miami. Dexter moves Lumen into his apartment, which Jordan Chase does not know about. Lee is watching and sees them go into the apartment. So again, Quinn's PI has better information than Jordan Chase does.
At this point, I gotta say, it is kind of weird. Like, Dexter, maybe he's just too distracted, but it's like he's so good about knowing his surroundings and stuff. It's almost unbelievable that he's been tracked this long by Liddy without noticing anything, right?
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. Because he's always on guard. He's always watching. That doesn't quite fit.
Yeah. Yeah, and he actually meets Liddy for the first time later in this episode, so...
Right.
Dexter and Lumen make a plan to interview the woman whose blood Chase wears around his neck. Dexter thinks she's the first victim, but was allowed to live. At Miami Metro, LaGuerta is giving a briefing on the reopening of the Barrel Girls case. They resisted the urge to call any of the episodes this season Roll Out the Barrel.
Yeah, I mean, this is a season where they called an episode Illuminated.
Yeah.
So. Still upset about that.
Yeah, they were a couple of Scott Buck episodes away from it, I'm sure. Deb has been returned to detective work from the file room, meaning that I guess the investigation / scapegoating of Yasmin's death at the club has just been abandoned at this point, because we never hear about it again.
They've pinned it back on Manzone since she's no longer there.
Yeah, they pinned it on Manzone.
Maybe that's why she's gone.
Off of camera, and she leaves. I like to think that she got so upset by Deb saying that if they needed a real fucking detective, that she'd be in the file room, that she just burst into tears and quit.
That's all it took. Yeah. That's all it took. I can't take this. I can deal with beheaded bodies. I can deal with maggots on heads, but I can't deal with that.
I'm going back to college. I'm going to go learn something else.
I'm going to go be an accountant.
Yeah. Masuka found Cole's DNA, but Dexter has already killed and buried Mr. Suitman at sea. LaGuerta thinks that bringing Deb back would be enough to patch things up with Angel, but he blows her off. Still a lot of space between the couch and the bed.
Yeah, it's a weird move. It's like that little sequence was kind of like, huh? Okay.
This whole like Angel carrying a grudge thing is very not Angel. Like Angel's the one that's the optimist all the time, and you would think that he'd give Maria a break at some point, not because she deserved it, but because he's Angel and he can't help himself.
Well, it kind of makes sense based on the reboot of this season, because earlier this season he was whining about, say she has like a secret bank account,
right.
all that high school shit that he was pulling. So it just stands to reason that he'd be all passive aggressive and angsty.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in season 2 he was Mr. Positivity, right? He's like, I'm gonna put the positivity out there. It'll come back to me.
Yeah, and it pissed off Dokes, which was great.
Yeah. Exactly.
It also got him in Lila's crosshairs, so...
You keep talking that woo-woo shit, Batista.
That woo-woo shit, I was trying to remember what he called it.
Yeah.
How could I forget?
This also brings up the cliche of the couple are fighting, so the guy sleeps on the couch thing. Which, if Angel's mad at LaGuerta and it's not a mutual thing, why isn't LaGuerta on the couch? That's what I don't understand. Why do men with their bad backs have to go on the couch even when they're in the right? I don't get it.
Yep, doesn't make any sense.
It's supposed to be gender equality, guys.
I don't know how to break that one down. I'm not sure.
Just buy himself a really nice bed to put in the living room.
Like, hey, I'll be out in the garage on the cot.
He can't afford it. It's all in her secret bank account.
I had a nice place to sleep, but now the dog sleeps there. Deb and Quinn end up talking to Jordan Chase, who tells them that Suitman disappeared weeks ago. They say that even though he was previously cleared, he's now wanted for at least 5 murders. Deb is aggressive with Chase and says that he says that further conversations will need to go through his attorney. Dexter and Lumen go to the first victim, Emily Birch. They mention Jordan Chase's name and show her the picture of the young boy versions of her attackers. And Birch asks them to leave and closes the door. Dexter gets called to a search of Cole's apartment. Deb points out some of Cole's blood that Dexter and Lumen failed to clean up. Quinn shows Deb and Dexter DVDs made of the rape and torture of the women. And that whole scene is all messed up. I mean, first of all, Dexter missed blood on the wall, which that doesn't happen. That's not how Dexter rolls. He wasn't drunk or like screwed up at the time to not do it. And Quinn makes the total dick move of, hey, you guys need to come see this, and doesn't say, I've got a bunch of like torture rape for you to watch.
Ugh.
Come into the next room and I've already got it playing. Like, I'm already mid-scene. So, not cool, Quinn.
Yeah.
Not cool.
Yeah.
There are 13 numbered DVDs with a woman each. The 13th is Lumen. Dexter needs to keep Deb from finding out that Lumen was one of the victims since they met in the last episode. Masuka has put together that there are 13 discs, but only 12 locks of hair were found at Boyd's house. Dexter swaps disc 13 by knocking them over to disguise the switch for Masuka.
Such a silly thing, too. Just like the old switcheroo.
That is an awkward scene.
Yeah.
This episode is full of awkward scenes that just yeah.
Like, as soon as he enters that room that I guess came from nowhere, like that room has not existed before, Masuka starts yelling at him about chain of custody evidence, and Dexter just keeps walking in and does the like most awkward, ridiculous switch of all time.
And he also puts the thing behind his back, and the blinds are open, and the door is visible to everyone, and it's just makes it. And you guys all know how busy it is because all those extras are walking back and forth behind, and you're just like, nobody sees how awkward this is.
It's Miami Metro. It just makes sense that things happen, you know.
Just another day at the office.
Playing it cool, just holding his hands behind his back. Nothing to see here.
Dexter brings Lumen her DVD. Dexter reassures her that no one at Miami Metro, including himself, has watched the disc. Lumen thanks Dexter. She says he's his only way through this. Lumen watches her DVD, and Dexter can hear it in the next room. Deb tells Dexter that there's no coming back from this sort of treatment. She's watched the other 12 DVDs. Deb has figured out that Dan the dentist is one of the rapists. That means that Boyd has disappeared. Someone attacked Cole, who's also missing, and Dan the dentist is dead. She believes someone is attacking these offenders, possibly killing them. None of them bought airline tickets, or emptied their accounts, so Deb thinks that they're being hunted by a vigilante.
Good detective work, Deb.
Yeah.
For once. A little delayed.
It is interesting that she came up with any theories while watching those 12 DVDs.
Well, she also had 12 cups of coffee. Remember how much coffee stimulates her detective work.
Yeah.
It's the trees! The trees!
Oh, man. That was funny. She's been up all night and just has, like, the giant, like, Charlie from It's Always Sunny charts, like, laid out on the floor.
Yeah.
Lumen takes the DVD of herself to Emily Birch and shows it to her. She asks if this is what happened to her, too. Birch lets her in. She didn't know that that there were others after her that had been attacked. Lumen tells her that she was the 13th, and she's the only one that survived. Birch points at a chubby kid named Eugene Greer, who was Jordan Chase before changing his name. He drugged her at camp and tied her to a bunk. He didn't touch her, but he got the other guys to do it, and they made her take that picture afterward. Birch identifies the fifth man, Alex Tilden.
Yeah, that was a very emotional story. You're just like, ugh, so terrible.
This whole episode just makes you feel like you're getting beat up. It's just horrible thing after horrible thing after horrible thing.
Yeah, I don't know who played this Emily Birch, but she did a really good job of playing somebody who is just emotionally damaged.
Yeah, this episode feels like a crossover between Dexter and Law & Order SVU.
Yeah.
Liddy pretends to run into Dexter at the station. He forges Quinn's signature to check out a bunch of surveillance equipment from Miami Metro, despite being a fired veteran cop.
Everybody acts like they don't even know him.
Right.
It's so easy to steal from Miami Metro.
I mean, Dexter checks out like all kinds of stuff too, all the time.
He checked out cars. It's like
N99.
It's from Impound. Why would we have a record of that?
Mm-hmm.
They're all cops.
Lumen tells Dexter what she found out, that Emily Birch, her attack is what made Jordan who he is today. Lumen wants to be the one to kill the fifth man, Alex. Deb and Quinn meet with Alex. His name came up on a list of acquaintances of Cole. They ask if he knows Dan the dentist or Boyd Fowler or Jordan Chase. He denies all three. Dexter gives Lumen a present, gloves like his. As they discuss their next steps, Liddy is shown watching them on surveillance. He's bugged the apartment.
So creepy. Also, when did he get in?
Yeah, it must have been while they were out talking to Birch or something.
Because there's like very little time.
Tomorrow, man.
Right, because she's been at his apartment nonstop. Other than that, I guess she did go and talk to him or to her without him, so that could be the time.
Dexter and Lumen sneak into Alex's house to look for clues. They find a jewelry box with 13 pieces of jewelry. The last is Lumen's. Birch has Jordan Chase at her house. Turns out Jordan told her to tell Lumen the truth. Birch is worried for Jordan, but he assures her that he and Birch have a special bond. She made him what he is today. She tries to touch him, but he gently pushes her hand away. So he told her to talk to the detectives all along.
That scene, like, it's kind of hard to watch. Like, just how dominated he has this poor woman.
Yeah.
And, like, he doesn't even make eye contact with her, look in her direction, except when he, like, grabs her hand and moves it away. Mm-hmm. It's just, ugh.
Which makes me feel like she didn't necessarily tell the truth. Like, she's like, I told the truth, I told the story. And it's like, did you really, though? I mean, now we're seeing this side of things, and it seems like there could be more or things that you didn't tell her. So we don't know. We just have to assume.
Well, she told Lumen, who's not necessarily a threat as long as Jordan Chase can take care of Lumen before she gets to the police. And she doesn't know, or I guess he knows that Lumen and Dexter are working together, so yeah, I'm not sure what his plan is. I mean, at one time I knew it because I've seen these episodes before, but I don't remember what his plan was. Chase and his lawyers show up at Miami Metro. They try to stop Deb from getting a sample of Chase's DNA, but Chase goes against counsel and offers to give a sample to help. Dexter's the one to take his cheek swab. Chase makes veiled threats about Dexter's family. Dexter tells him he's glad that Chase never touched the girls because the DNA results will clear him and Dexter will have him all to himself. Lumen reveals her kill suit to Dexter. He's blown away. He says, "You look perfect." Lumen admires Dexter's knives. She takes out one and practices stabbing with it.
Thing with her kill outfit really was irritating to me. She had the first outfit, and I'm dressed all wrong, and then she says, "How's this? It looks stupid, doesn't it? You're not trying on a frickin' evening gown." It just really irked me for some reason that she's so worried about her outfit, and that he's so gushing over how she looks. A kill suit. It's a shirt and it's pants.
Yeah, it's like he's excited because she's the anti-Miguel. She didn't dress like the Unabomber.
Yeah.
She kind of did in her first outfit, though, to be fair. So I guess maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. I don't know. I liked it. I like this, like these moments, these little like precious moments almost, because they're, I don't know. It is the anti-Miguel, and so it's like, oh, he's finally getting like a partner in crime or someone he can teach these things to, or I don't know, someone who's been through what he's been through, and I don't know, maybe I'm a sucker for friendship.
It would have been hilarious. It would have been hilarious if she would have been like, "Well, do you like this?" And he said no, and she's like, "Well, fuck you then." Like Miguel. It would have been great.
Yeah, I thought it was the most ridiculous thing when she started like practicing stabbing. It's like, you know how knives work, right?
It doesn't take practice.
You've used
really.
a knife before, right? But they do that just so that Liddy has the visual of her stabbing something in front of Dexter like that, so that he can say, "Oh my goodness," which is like Liddy suddenly joined the cast of Little Orphan Annie.
Yeah, he would have said something profane. Most of what he says, it's really that, B-movie, profane, cheesy, like here to kick ass and chew bubble gum type of line. What a missed opportunity, him seeing that and just saying, "Oh my goodness." Could have had a great line there.
Golly!
Gomer Pyle for a second.
That was a really good Gomer.
Was impressive. Almost as good as your season 1 Cody.
Hank Hill's my best. Hank Hill's the one I can do the best, but we'll have to save that for another day.
I work in a reference just to get you to do that.
Alex and Jordan have a phone conversation. Jordan tells him to keep his regular routine, and Jordan will take care of him. Turns out that Jordan is parked outside of Alex's house. He sees Dexter and Lumen walk into the house. He calls Deb. He tells her that Alex called Jordan's office looking for Cole to arrange a flight. Alex gets home and walks right past Dexter. The DVD of Lumen's attack starts playing, and Lumen steps out in front of him. As he runs to the phone, Dexter M99s him. And I forgot because it was so under-executed that, yeah, Jordan's plan was to basically set up Dexter and Lumen for Alex's murder.
Yeah.
So that's his plan.
So he was trying to get him, set up and get him caught. And like they showed us where they were probably going to have the kill room like right next to where they trapped him, and yeah, it was all getting us to that point.
But he's there himself. He's a very wealthy man and has nothing else to do but sit outside of Alex's house until this happens. Alex wakes up on Dexter and Lumen's table. Dexter takes his blood slide and shows him the picture of the victims. Deb and Quinn pull into Alex's driveway. They find the front door unlocked and enter the house with their guns drawn. They walk through the door that Lumen suggested led to the kill room earlier. And then an establishing shot shows us that the kill room is actually a house that is for sale. So she must have been able to see that from that door. Alex tells Lumen that Jordan made him do things that he never would have done. Lumen corrects him and says, "No, you made me do things I never would have done, ever, ever." Alex offers them Jordan, Chase, and money. He asks for a number. Lumen just says 13 and gags him. Dexter gives her the knife. She gets up on the table to reach and then stabs Alex in the heart. Deb finds a partial footprint. Quinn says it looks small, maybe a woman's. Deb figures out that the vigilante might be number 13 since there were only 12 locks of hair. She figures that out while looking at the footprint. And then back at Dexter's apartment, Lumen removes her outer shirt, then removes Dexter's, but leaves his hands caught up in it. She kisses him, removes his shirt from his hands, and lets him touch her. They have sex and snuggle. And he says, in her eyes, I'm not a monster at all. Okay, Brooke, let's have it.
This is where the season loses me. This is where it loses me. And I do remember that this was a turning point for me watching the show where the first time I really was like super disappointed on my first watching. It just, to me, it's such a mistake. It's such a mistake. I get what they're trying to do. She killed somebody and now she's freed some of those demons and now she's ready to, not be a victim and not be so afraid, and now she can have the sex because she's less damaged now because she killed him. I guess that's what they're trying to say, but no, it kills the impact of this relationship. It takes it a whole different place. It makes no sense.
Yeah, if the only context is that Dexter finally let her kill, it makes sense that she sleeps with him, but not in the sense that they're hunting down the people that kidnapped and raped her.
Right.
And yeah, they got rid of one of the guys, but she's going to be emotionally damaged and have serious trouble with sex for the rest of her life. She's not just going to decide to throw down with Dexter.
That's
and there's no way
exactly.
they get. There's no way that even if she initiates what she did, there's no way they get to the snuggling place by the end of that.
No,
something had to have gone wrong somewhere in there for this to make any kind of sense, and it doesn't. So it doesn't.
Yeah, it was just a too easy wrap up. They're trying to say this is what she needs to heal from this, and it's just that simple that she killed the guy and now she's feeling comfortable enough to be physically intimate and much less to have an emotional connection with that. It's just, it makes no sense. I think it kind of is a little bit disrespectful to the concept of somebody who is a victim of something like that, and it doesn't make sense in the context of the characters. It's not what I don't think anyone who watches the show wants for Dexter and Lumen.
Well, it's like a gratitude move. it's like she has sex with him out of gratitude, which shouldn't be the currency of gratitude for her. Because that's the way they played. It's not like they've hinted that Lumen sort of is interested in Dexter before at all. And, you know, he's gone out of his way to say that, like, and he's never been interested in her, and he goes out of his way to tell everybody that she's not his girlfriend. And he's not lying about that.
This episode did show their, even throughout the start of the episode, it kind of showed their relationship in a different light. The scenes were a lot more flirty than you would think. And then this one, they finally have sex at the end of the episode, and to me, they framed it as, like Brooke said, she's kind of taking her power back, but it just did not land.
Well, you say they finally sleep with each other.
Well, they finally sleep to each other. Like, I meant that they get to that scene, not that it has been building up to it. I misspoke.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like I saw the flirtiness you're talking about in this episode. I feel like this came out of left field. But my read on it is different too than yours, Dale. I didn't see it as a gratitude thing, but I can see that too. To me, I felt like they were showing it as a, you know, a motion forward for her and her healing. But that either way is problematic. Your read or mine, I think it's really a problematic way to take the story and to take that relationship of him being her mentor to help her deal with this traumatic event and
yeah.
I don't know. It's all wrong.
Well,
it's
yeah,
all wrong.
like she first puts his hands behind his back, which I buy into that part of it. You know, like she has to be in complete control for this to have any sense of working. But then she's like, you know what? This is working, and she just goes for it. And he picks her up and throws her on the bed. You're like, wow, really?
Well, and even that, you wouldn't go that route when it's her first. You would, like, probably, I would think, you would be really cautious about anything aggressive anyway like that, too. I don't know.
Yeah,
and maybe I'm overthinking that, but
she should be in 100% control of this at this point, because that's what's been taken from her. So, yeah, it doesn't... All the way around, it's just bad.
Okay, here we go. I'm revving
Here goes
up.
Zach with the opposing viewpoint.
At first I was definitely like, don't go this route. I was like, I don't think they need to hook up. I don't think it's necessary. I think what we've had has been good so far. Let's just keep it professional to some degree. And then like I did catch a lot of that flirtiness as well. So I was like, okay, they're sort of trying to like get into the flirtiness of it all or whatever. And then, you know, like things go down.
Real quick, when you guys say flirtiness, do you mean like him being excited about her outfit and the gloves and that stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it took more of almost a like romantic comedy vibe there for a minute while they're doing that. It felt like two people kind of flirting, over messed up material, but still.
Oh, of course.
I guess I can see that, because otherwise I didn't read any flirting, but I can see what you're saying with that. It's that romantic comedy trope of, what do you think of my outfit?
Yeah. And then when it got to the sex scene, and I was like, all right, well, it's going to happen. And then like I didn't hate the way that they did it. So I guess that's why I just didn't, like, I totally understand and can respect everything that everyone said, but it just didn't bother me as much. And then I was like, yeah, those things definitely have their place, like in terms of, you know, she should have been this more this way or more that way. But I guess, like, I don't know, like I just didn't hate it at the end. And even her, you know, him throwing her on the bed was sort of like well, she had the control at first. He like gave her the control at first. And so she had that moment, and then she relinquished that control back to him because she trusted him so much that she knew that like she wouldn't be traumatized or triggered by it, I guess. But none of it makes any sense. I'm not saying any of it makes any sense at all. I guess I just wasn't as bothered by it.
Yeah, I mean the bother comes from. So look, like of all the guys that she could have like hooked up with this close to what happened to her, Dexter's a pretty good choice because he's not like out looking for sex. He's not pushing her to do anything. Right. So it's really all her choice. It's all her, like, Dexter doesn't kiss her, she kisses him. You know, it's that sort of thing. Yeah. And that's all fine. I think our problem, specifically Brooke and my problem, is that a survivor of rape does not initiate sex.
Totally.
Like, within weeks of being released from kidnapping.
No, I totally understand that, and I agree 100%. I'm just saying that the way they did it didn't bother me enough to like make me hate the episode because of what happened.
Yeah, I don't need Dexter and Lumen to be together, I guess, is the short version.
It just changes the whole thing of the whole season and where it's going. It just changes it. It changes it. I feel like it cheapens it. I feel like they took an easy way out also. They took the obvious choice, and it just didn't make any sense. And it was really, really badly done on top of it.
Yeah. Yep, so this was directed by Keith Gordon, who has directed lots and lots of Dexter. Scott Reynolds was the writer. He wrote a total of 9 episodes and produced between 2011 and 2013. What was your best line of the episode?
I really liked when Lumen said 13 and right before she gagged and stabbed him. Mm-hmm. I liked that.
Mm.
Also mine. Just give me a number, 13. Yeah, that's what I picked.
Yeah, I thought there was a lot of really good lines from this episode, more so than bad lines, so it was hard for me to choose, but that was a great one. I also had Deb saying, who would want to take these guys out? And the first person that came to mind, me. And I was like, that was really powerful. Mm-hmm. And then also Dex's final line in her eyes, I'm not a monster at all. But that's really only if you don't mind the context of them hooking up. So
right.
Well, it's a good thing for Dexter, like that he's got someone who knows his dark side and accepts him and loves him still.
Yeah,
still wants to be with him. So I understand his sentiment there. In my head, in my world, they should have an episode where Olivia Wilde guest stars so they can fight over who gets to be the real 13. But.
Nice reference.
How about the worst line of the episode? Did I just say it right now? I did that.
In her eyes, in her eyes, I'm not a monster at all. Sorry, Zach.
That's fine, because the context is different, or the feeling is different, so I totally understand it, yeah.
Yeah, and only because of, there weren't a lot of bad lines, so that was actually just really the only one that stood out.
I didn't have a bad line, but as we've been talking about it, I'd have to go with Liddy saying, "Oh my goodness."
Oh my goodness.
It's true.
She's practicing with the knife.
That was pretty bad. I came up with when Dexter said "your time is up" to Jordan Chase when they were doing the cotton swab or whatever. Mm-hmm. I was like, it's a cheesy Dexter line. Yeah.
How about the worst line of the episode?
No, that was my worst line.
How about even worse? No.
There wasn't. It was hard to find bad lines as it was.
It really was.
This
is a hard one.
When Dexter tells her to turn the knife around, she's stabbing it in the wrong direction.
Yeah, that was
okay, how about the Chicky Hines Memorial performance of the episode?
I give it to that whoever played Emily Birch. I thought she did a really good job.
Okay.
I went with Julia Stiles on this one because just her having to watch the DVDs and to play that level of, to have to get into that mindset as an actor, I can't imagine, how trying that would be. The scenes where she's listening to herself screaming and just even get into the mindset to scream like that and then to watch it. Just impressive.
Even after the sex, you're giving it to her.
I'm gonna pretend that didn't happen.
That's not Julia Stiles' fault.
It's true.
Wait, did she write this episode? Because if so, I'm taking it all back.
She just wrote the last scene. That's all she wrote was the last scene.
Then she loses all future performance of the episodes and all
She wanted an excuse to make out with Michael C. Hall. That's all it was.
I'm going with Julia Stiles as well. I think she did a great job. And then, in my mind, for the last scene, she came in and she's like, "Okay, I have some thoughts." And, like how when an actor just comes in and like the director's like, "Okay, yeah, sure, let's go with whatever Julia Stiles wants because it's Julia Stiles."
Yeah.
Good.
Well, and it was extra uncomfortable on the set because Michael C. Hall and Jennifer Carpenter were married by this time.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Who'd you give it to?
They were married at this time or divorced? I don't know.
They were married.
They were still married at this point?
I believe so.
It's the next season where they're split up.
I think they split up like either right before or while he was dealing with the cancer stuff.
It was after he had finished treatment.
So yeah, I think it's like partway into season 6 that they stopped, or that they got divorced.
So who do you think for performance?
The best? I'm going to give it to Liddy. I think Peter Weller saying, "Oh my goodness," is...
He is with that cheeseburger just sitting right next to his mouth.
He's just about to bite into it. Yeah.
Jeez. Him looking for a pin and he goes, "See you later, Dexter."
So that'll do it. Thanks, guys, for helping with the episode. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We will see you on the next Deeply Discussing Dexter.